Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my mess. So if you guys remember, I worked on this IS. I did valve cover gaskets, spark plugs, intake gaskets, stuff like that, and I skipped camshaft O-rings or gaskets or seals and crankshaft seal. So you can see I already did the top ones, which we're gonna go back in time and I'll show you what I did. Take this off, and I still have to do the bottom one. So I kind of broke my own rule, saying that every time you're working on a car, if you're into the build, into the whatever you're working, just might as well get everything done, make sure everything's good. Whatever needs to be fixed, just fix it. But kind of skipped out on a lot, and by a lot I mean even though there's only 3 seals, there's a lot of work to do this, because I have to take the covers off, this crank pulleys right there, timing belt, and I mean a lot of work. If you were to take this to a shop, it's gonna cost you a lot of money, especially if you're gonna do it twice. So, and one of the reasons why I didn't do it, I was hoping it's been done before, because whoever owned this car before, and again, if you've been watching my videos and been watching my build on this car, you know how long I had this car. I'm not going to talk about all that, but whoever owned this car, they did timing belt and a water pump, and I was hoping those seals been replaced, even though valve cover gasket was leaking like really bad. And this car already has, it's 4,000 miles and some change shy from having 200,000 miles. And my plan was, I was going to give it a shot on this engine, give it a chance, see, you know, if it's gonna run good or not. And if it doesn't, my donor car that I owned that for 70 years has only 96 or 98,000 miles. I was going to swap it with that engine, and that one has 5-speed manual. But honestly, this engine actually runs pretty good. Not the fastest engine, and actually I might be changing my mind with swapping that engine, and I have a couple other plans, but we'll see. But for now, I want to replace these seals and stop the car from seeping oil everywhere, because you can see how bad it is. So a couple things. Again, if you're into the build, if you're working on a car, just might as well get everything done. But I did valve cover gasket on this engine not too long ago. I didn't replace it this time because it's still good. And again, if you watched my my video on that, replacing the gasket, I did took the wires and everything. I did took these wires, I moved them on the side, but this time I was super lazy again and didn't take them off, didn't move them to the side. I kind of pull them up and all that, but you can see that these plastic stuff, they're breaking everywhere. There you go, hoses and everything. So if you are doing something like this, please don't just leave it the way it is. Just take these wires, move them to the side. And again, if you're doing valve cover gasket, might as well replace spark plugs and stuff like that. Check them out, because there's a lot of oil always goes inside where the spark plugs are, because mine were like floating in the oil, and it'll be a lot easier and less headache, because these stuff, like I said, they break and you don't want them to fall inside your engine. So let's go back in time and do the time lapse on what I did. I didn't do step by step how to do all this stuff. Pretty much straightforward, easy. The only thing that I actually forgot to loosen these bolts when I had the belt on, so I had to put the belt back again on the car or an engine and loosen these and then take them off. One of the things, if you're taking this off, this is a crankshaft pulley or balancer, whatever you want to call it. You can see whoever probably did the timing belt broke this here, and you can see these marks here. That's from chain. Sometimes people put a like a special chain or whatever to hold the pulley from turning, and please don't do that. I'll show you in this video how to take this bolt that's in the middle, how to take it off without any problems. And if you are taking this off, chances are you're using this tool. Goes like this. Don't put these right here, right there, because you are gonna break it, just like this one right here. Somebody broke it. Put it all the way behind here. And again, when you're taking it off, tighten this. If it's not coming out, just let it sit a little bit, and it will start come off. Spray WD-40 in the middle is gonna help to loosen a little bit, but again, don't put it right here. So the easy way to actually break this nut loose, and this one is I think 22 mil. It's the same belt that was sitting here. So all I did is I looped it from here going down. Here, I'll take it off, it'll be easier. Like that. So loop it right here. Well, goes down and it kind of feeds back inside. So when you turn it left, it actually tightens itself up. And same thing, well, the opposite, when you actually tighten this up, same thing, put it right here, go under it, and then feed it inside here, and then tighten it. Mine was actually pretty loose. I was surprised. Usually they're really tight. So let's see what else is inside. So you can see somebody's been down here before. This here all scratched up. The belt is from Napa, so it's not OEM. It's kind of hard to tell if the crankshaft seal is leaking, but I'm still gonna replace it. I'm not gonna take a chance on it. You can see there's a bunch of collected oil down here, but it's been coming down from up top here, right there, on the side, on both sides actually. So might as well replace everything, because I don't want to take all this apart again. You can see it's wet right here. Same thing right here. Here's the thing though. This one's gonna be pretty easy to install. This one, I don't know, but there's two different ways to install this. The way it is right now, just take these out and press the other ones in, or take valve cover gaskets or the valve covers off, take these bolts off, reseal these, and put it back together. So I really don't want to take this apart again, like I said before, but it's kind of hard to tell if it's leaking here or not. It is wet. This side is fine, but it's wet right here. Same thing. It's kind of hard to tell here if it's wet or not, but I really don't want to take a chance. So I'm gonna take the valve cover off, take these bolts, and plus it's gonna be a lot easier to actually replace these once I take this off. And I'm gonna reseal these caps on both sides, and then we'll do the bottom. But you can see how much oil has been dripping all the way down. And I watched this a couple hundred miles ago, so it's not like it's a leftover from valve cover gasket. It actually is leaking from here. So one of the things, again, if you're doing something like this, might as well rebuild or replace O-ring inside the VVTi gear. This is something that you can't really buy at the dealership, but you can buy them online. I think it's the one that I got. I bought it from eBay. They're under $10, not that expensive. Mine wasn't leaking, but again, chances are it will leak pretty soon because everything else has been leaking. But it's a lot easier to replace it the way it sits right here than the way it sits in the car. So might as well again replace it now. This is the old one. It's kind of hard to see, I don't know, but you guys can see it or not, but this one's been flattened already with some kind of hair. But and this one, this is the new one. This is still round. And the thing is, with the new ones, they're slightly smaller, so you have to kind of get a little bit of oil and start stretching. Don't pull it too hard, stretch a little bit, put it on, and you can see the grooves right here, and it's supposed to sit in here. Or somewhat like this. It doesn't sit all the way inside because I need to stretch a little bit more, but if you take all this apart, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. It's pretty easy to put it back on because you can see it has like a bunch of teeth, and there's only one that's wider than rest of them. Same thing in here, they're all the same size except one spot has a wider spot for this one here. So you align it hold on, this way. There you go. So as long as you don't have upside down, it's pretty easy to tell because this one has a ring from the washer, bolt and the washer sitting, and this one doesn't. And same thing with this one. Same thing with this one. You look at inside, it has a bunch of teeth, and there's only one spot that is actually wider than the rest of them. And same thing on this one, on the outer part. Has a bunch of teeth and one wide cutout. So you have to align it as best as you can, and then it's kind of like, oh, actually, there you go. It's usually it's a guessing game to try to find this perfect spot. So you have to again align this, make sure you have it perfect. Well, with this one inside, get this stretched out, put it on, and if you stretch this pretty good, it'll sit there for about 30 seconds, give it a take, so you have a little bit of time to put this on. If you don't, it's gonna start shrinking, this O-ring, and you put this on, you can't really see if the O-ring sits the way it's supposed to, and guess what, as soon as you put it on and start the car, it's gonna start leaking. Another thing, when you do this, make sure you clean it really good. There's no oil, because if there's a little bit of oil and stuff, you assemble it, it's gonna start leaking, and you're gonna think, oh, it's leaking, and take it apart, but it's actually not. At the same time, if you do put it back crooked and it starts leaking, you're not gonna know. You're gonna think, oh, there's a leftover oil. So both, it goes either or. But again, make sure you clean it and it doesn't have a lot of oil. I mean, you can't really make it dry clean because, or bone dry, because it still has to have some kind of oil or lubricant inside. So, and another thing, actually right here inside, there's another O-ring that's one of those, it's cut in the middle and it meets together kind of like sideways. Sometimes they do come out when you start cleaning with the towel or whatever you're using, with the rag. It'll come off and you won't be able to put this on. So take this out nice and easy and kind of like put it together, like bend it together, hold it for, I don't know, maybe a minute, and then put it on, and it's gonna take the shape of the round shape or whatever. It's gonna go back the way it's supposed to. So let's assemble this. So I kind of got overexcited there, and I actually almost put the cart back together. And I put the radiator on, the intake and everything. I started, and then I was like, oh shoot, hold on, I wanted to do AC. So I had to take the radiator out. Good thing that I didn't put the water in. And the condenser is gonna come out of that car. I need to swap the condenser, and one of the lines got crimped all the way up front, so I might have to take the bumper out. So we'll see how it's gonna go, but let's go back to work. So finally everything's ready. I started the car, put antifreeze in it, got all the bubbles out. I think it's done. Fix the flat. It'll do for now. I am gonna be replacing these tires anyway, so I'm gonna go get my AC system checked for leaks, if it's leaking or not, and pump the AC in. So hopefully it'll go good. Gonna go wash my hands and we'll go get the AC charged. So I got the AC fixed. I was going to do the video when the guy was doing a charge and all that, but he didn't really want to be recorded, or didn't want me to record it. So it is cold. I mean, it's not that hot outside. It's 79 right now, but I have a number 2, and even if I do it on number 1, it's really cold, which I'm super excited. Even though I don't really use AC, usually have window open unless it's really hot. But again, if you are driving with someone in a car, it's kind of sucks to trying to talk to them and have window open, and when you close it's super hot and all that. So I want to do a quick walk around. If you guys have been following my build, I did a polyurethane side skirts on this car, and I promised you guys to kind of do the update, show you what they look like. And I think it's been only a month, which is not that much, but I kind of still want you guys to see what they look like and stuff. So let's go outside. So if you, let's start with the driver's side. Here we go. Airplanes. So the driver's side is actually, other than this right here, if I put double-sided tape, it's still on the way, like, I mean, the gaps and everything is super good, and they are not, like, there's nothing inside holding this. Nothing. And they're pretty good. I mean, I like the fitment. Lip is still there. My touch-up came off, so I'm just gonna use a real paint next time instead of whatever I used last time. This side, same thing. It's still on pretty good, except for this part. It bubbled up, but at the same time, I did use double-sided tape on this side. I used right here in this area, right here, somewhere in the middle, and towards the end. So I think the reason, that's the reason why it bubbled up. If I would have used double-sided tape all the way down the entire side, it would have stayed, because you can see right here, whoop, never mind, actually came off. But I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna be taking them off because I'm gonna be replacing these fenders, and this time I'm really gonna use good double, well, I did use 3M. I don't know why it actually came off. Probably didn't clean it good or something, but it's still on. I like the fitment. I like the way they look. My paint is coming off on the fender. This is what the car looks like now. So it is windy, so hopefully you guys can hear me because I didn't bring my mic with me. So this is it for today's video, or this video. Even though it kind of took me a few days to finish this up, it wasn't that hard. It just, honestly, I'm used to working inside the garage after work. I just close the garage and have music on, whatever. I can work hours and hours at a time. But now that I'm doing videos, my lighting is not that good for videos. If to do it inside the garage, I have to do it during the day, and during the day, kind of with the work and some stuff going on at home I have to do, and I have kids and all that, so I kind of want to spend more time with kids and all. But it's not that bad. I mean, even though something like this is gonna take you, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours at the most, it took me 3 days. But again, it was just 1 hour here, 2 hours there. So, and I do want to get quick release bumper buttons or whatever they called on this bumper, because it is pain in the butt to take it off. So probably gonna try to do it later. I don't know when, but since I'm gonna be replacing this bumper and it's not painted yet, I want to do another bumper. I don't really want to do on this one, but at the same time, I'm actually just practice on this one, because if I do ruin the bumper, I don't really care because it's already ruined right here. And I guess that's it. So if you guys liked the video, maybe it was helpful in any way, or just enjoyed watching, please hit thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and look out for my next video. See you next time.